Lucas Grant stood near the big window of Council Station Delta 7. Outside, stars stretched forever in every direction. The station was huge, floating in space between two alien empires that did not like each other very much. Inside the station were ambassadors from 47 different alien species. They all belonged to something called the Galactic Council. Lucas was human. He was from Earth. And Earth was not part of the Galactic Council. The aliens had discovered Earth only 3 years ago. Since then, they had been arguing about whether humans should be allowed to join their club. Most of them thought humans were too violent, too aggressive, too dangerous. So Lucas was here as an observer. He could watch what happened, but he could not vote on anything. He could not even speak unless someone asked him a question. Lucas did not really mind. He was a military commander, not a politician. He preferred warships to words anyway. Katie Morris walked up to him. She was his assistant, a young woman who helped him with all the boring paperwork that came with being an observer. She held a tablet computer in her hands. "Commander," she said quietly, "the council meeting is about to start. Ambassador Velnash wants you to stay up here in the observation gallery." Lucas nodded. Velnash was the ambassador from a species called the Viridians. They had 6 arms and blue skin that changed color when they were upset. Velnash did not like humans at all. He had made that very clear many times. "That's fine," Lucas said. "I've heard enough speeches about trade regulations to last me a lifetime anyway." Katie smiled a little. "It could be worse. At least we're not stuck in the actual meeting." The council chamber was below them. It was a round room where all the ambassadors floated in their own gravity fields, arranged in a perfect circle. It looked impressive, but Lucas always thought it seemed uncomfortable. He preferred having his feet on solid ground. Ambassador Velnash started talking about new trade rules. His voice came through the speakers in the observation gallery. Lucas tried to pay attention, but his mind kept wandering. He thought about his ship, the one he had commanded before being assigned to this diplomatic post. He missed it. Then suddenly, alarm bells started ringing. Loud and urgent. A computer voice spoke over the intercom. It sounded calm, but the words were terrifying. "Warning. Multiple hostile vessels detected. Kryn Dominion fleet approaching. Estimated time to weapons range, 6 minutes." Lucas felt his stomach drop. The Kryn Dominion. They were one of the most aggressive species in the galaxy. Reptilian warriors who believed in conquest and domination. For the past year, they had been making threats and attacking small colonies at the edge of council space. But attacking a council station? That was an act of war. Down in the council chamber, panic broke out. Ambassadors were shouting. Some were trying to float toward the exits. Others just froze in fear. Lucas ran to the nearest computer terminal and pulled up the tactical display. His military training kicked in automatically. He needed to see what they were facing. What he saw made his blood run cold. 40 Kryn warships. All of them were big cruisers or larger. They were coming in fast, weapons charged and ready. The station had shields and a few small security ships, but nothing that could stop a fleet that size. It would be like trying to stop a tank with a pocket knife. Katie appeared next to him, her face pale. "Commander, this is bad. Really bad." "I know," Lucas said. He kept his voice steady, but inside he was calculating their chances of survival. They were not good. Down in the council chamber, Ambassador Velnash had recovered from his initial shock. His skin had turned bright yellow with fear, but his voice was firm. "Send a distress signal immediately. Use all council emergency frequencies. We need help now." The communications officer was a nervous alien named Zex. He belonged to a species called the Tellurians. They had 6 fingers on each hand and were usually very good with computers. But right now, Zex was shaking with terror. His 6 fingers flew across the control panel, trying to input the right codes. Lucas watched from above, wishing he could help. But the communication system was alien technology. He would not know how to use it even if they let him try. Zex hit the transmit button. The distress signal went out, shooting through space faster than light. Lucas saw the confirmation code pop up on the tactical display. Then he saw something else. Something wrong. The frequency code. It was not the Council emergency frequency. It was something different. Katie saw it too. She leaned closer to the screen, then looked at Lucas with wide eyes. "Commander, that signal. It went out on frequency 7744E." Lucas felt his heart skip a beat. "That's our frequency. That's Earth's diplomatic channel." "Yes, sir." For a moment, Lucas could not move, could not speak. The implications were enormous. The Galactic Council had just sent a distress signal to Earth. The same council that had spent 3 years debating whether humans were too dangerous to join. The same council that had told Earth to slow down its military expansion. The same council that had warned humanity to be less aggressive, less violent, less militaristic. Now they were calling for help from that very military they feared. Lucas pulled out his personal communicator. It was a small device that gave him a direct line to Earth's military command. He activated it with shaking hands. A face appeared on the small screen. Admiral Patricia Cole, commander of Earth's Fifth Fleet. She was in her 50s, with short gray hair and sharp eyes. Right now, those eyes looked very serious. "Commander Grant," she said without any greeting, "we received a distress signal. What is your situation?" Lucas took a deep breath. "Admiral, the situation is real. 40 Kryn warships are attacking this station. But the distress signal was sent by mistake. The communications officer panicked and used the wrong frequency. He meant to call the Council fleet, not us." Admiral Cole was quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, there was an edge to her voice. "So let me understand this correctly. The Council has spent 3 years treating us like dangerous children. They have lectured us about being too aggressive. They have delayed our membership application again and again. And now they are accidentally asking us to save them." "Yes, Admiral. That about sums it up." "The irony is almost funny," Cole said. But she was not smiling. "Admiral, there are 47 ambassadors on this station. Representatives from every Council species. If the Kryn destroy this place, thousands of people will die. It will be the worst massacre in Council history. Accident or not, we are the only ones who can help them." Admiral Cole's jaw tightened. "I know, Commander. I have already given the order. The Fifth Fleet was conducting training exercises near the Proxima Gate. I have redirected all ships to your location. Estimated arrival time is 22 minutes. Lucas felt a wave of relief, followed immediately by despair. 22 minutes? "Admiral, the Kryn will be in weapons range in 4 minutes. This station will not last that long." "Then you need to buy us 18 minutes, Commander," Admiral Cole said firmly. "Use every trick you know. Be creative. Be desperate if you have to. Because ready or not, Earth is coming to help. We do not abandon people who need us, even if they called us by mistake." The screen went dark. Lucas stood there for a moment, staring at the blank communicator. 22 minutes. He had to keep everyone alive for 22 minutes against 40 warships. It seemed impossible. But impossible was just another word for difficult. He turned to Katie. "I need to speak with Ambassador Velnash right now. And get me a connection to the station's defensive fleet. We are going to need every ship we have." Katie nodded and started working on her tablet. Her hands were steady now. Fear had been replaced by determination. Lucas looked at the tactical display one more time. The Kryn fleet was getting closer. The countdown timer showed 3 minutes and 40 seconds until they entered weapons range. 3 minutes and 40 seconds until the shooting started. And 22 minutes until Earth arrived with an entire fleet of warships. The Galactic Council was about to learn something important about humanity. When you called Earth for help, Earth answered. It did not matter if the call was a mistake. It did not matter if you had spent years pushing humans away. When humans heard a cry for help, they came running. And they came ready for war. Ambassador Velnash appeared in front of Lucas as a hologram. The Viridian looked terrified. His skin had turned almost white, and his 6 arms were shaking. Lucas had never seen him look so scared before. "Human! What are you doing here?" You should be evacuating with the other observers, Velnash said, his voice high and panicked. There is no time to evacuate, Ambassador, Lucas said calmly. But I need you to listen very carefully. Your communications officer made a mistake. He sent the distress signal on Earth's emergency frequency, not the Council frequency. Earth received the message. Earth is responding. Velnash's skin turned yellow. That meant shock. Earth. You contacted your military. Your operator contacted them by accident, Lucas corrected. But yes, human warships are coming. They will arrive in about 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Velnash nearly screamed. We do not have 20 minutes. The Kryn will destroy this station in the first attack. Then we need to convince them not to attack yet, Lucas said. Ambassador, open a communication channel to the Kryn flagship. Tell them you want to negotiate. Tell them anything. Just buy us time. Velnash stared at him. Negotiate? With Commander Vorash? He is a butcher. He will laugh at us. Then let him laugh, Lucas said firmly. Every second he spends talking is a second we stay alive. Make him laugh for 20 minutes, Ambassador. The Kryn fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel right outside the station's defensive perimeter. Lucas watched on the tactical display as 40 massive warships appeared like angry hornets. Their ships looked mean, all sharp edges and visible weapons. The biggest ship, the Kryn flagship, was 3 times larger than anything else in the area. A communication request came through. Katie put it on the main screen. Commander Vorash appeared. He was a Kryn, which meant he looked like a giant reptile standing upright. His scales were dark green, his eyes were bright red, and his mouth was full of sharp teeth. He wore red armor covered with bones. Lucas knew those bones came from enemies Vorash had killed. It was a Kryn tradition that made most other species very uncomfortable. Ambassador Velnash, Vorash said in a hissing voice. The Galactic Council's time has ended. For too long, you have denied the Kryn Dominion what belongs to us. For too long, you have treated us like we are inferior. This station represents everything we hate about you. When we destroy it, a new era will begin. Velnash's skin had turned pale blue. That meant he was terrified but trying to hide it. Commander Vorash, attacking this station means war with all Council species. If you do this, you will face 47 civilizations united against you. Vorash laughed. It was a harsh, ugly sound. 47 soft, weak civilizations scattered across the galaxy. By the time they mobilize their fleets, we will control this entire sector. Your defensive ships are pathetic. You have nothing that can stop us. Surely we can find a diplomatic solution, Velnash tried. His voice was shaking. If you have demands, we can discuss them. There is no need for violence. There is no discussion, Vorash said coldly. There is only conquest. You have 5 minutes to evacuate your people. After that, we open fire. Use your time wisely, Ambassador. The screen went black. In the council chamber below, complete chaos erupted. Ambassadors were screaming, crying, trying to reach the escape pods. Some were frozen in place, unable to move from fear. Lucas made a quick decision. He grabbed the station-wide intercom and pressed the button. His voice boomed through every speaker on the station. This is Commander Lucas Grant of the Earth Observation Mission. I am taking tactical command of this station's defense. All security vessels, report to your stations immediately. All military personnel, man your posts. We are not evacuating. We are going to fight. Velnash spun around to face him. You cannot do this. You have no authority here. You are only an observer. Ambassador, with all respect, everyone else is panicking and nobody is giving orders, Lucas said bluntly. I am a warship commander. I have fought in real battles. This is what I do. You can arrest me later if we survive. Right now, let me do my job. Katie was already at a computer console. Commander, I have 12 security vessels responding. They are asking for orders. 12 ships against 40. It was suicide. But Lucas did not need to win. He just needed to survive long enough for Earth to arrive. Tell them to form a defensive screen around the station, Lucas ordered. Maximum shield power. Have the station rotate to present its strongest armor toward the Kryn flagship. And somebody find me the weapons officer. The station does not have a weapons officer, Velnash said weakly. This is a diplomatic outpost. We only have shields and some small defensive guns. Nothing meant for real combat. Lucas closed his eyes for a moment. Of course they did not have weapons. The Council had always relied on diplomacy and their neutral status to protect them. They had never expected anyone would actually attack a diplomatic station. Fine, Lucas said. Katie, coordinate with those 12 ships. Tell them to focus their fire on any Kryn vessel that breaks formation. Do not try to destroy them. Just annoy them enough to make them cautious. Velnash, I need you to keep talking to Vorash. Challenge his honor. Question his courage. Make him angry. Angry people make mistakes and waste time. The 5 minutes passed quickly. Too quickly. The Kryn fleet moved into attack formation. Lucas watched on the tactical display as they positioned themselves around the station like predators surrounding wounded prey. Then the first attack came. Energy beams and missiles slammed into the station's shields. The entire structure shook violently. Lights flickered. Warning alarms screamed from every console. Lucas grabbed the edge of the computer terminal to keep from falling. Shield strength at 73%, Katie reported. Her voice was steady, but Lucas could see the fear in her eyes. 2 of our frigates are damaged. 1 has lost its weapons completely. Lucas studied the tactical display. The Kryn were being methodical. They were destroying the defensive ships first, then they would focus all their firepower on the station itself. It was smart tactics. And it meant the station would not last long. How long until the Earth fleet arrives? Velnash demanded. 17 minutes, Lucas said. We will be dead in 5. Velnash's skin was flashing between yellow and white. The second volley hit even harder. This time, shield generators exploded across multiple sections of the station. Lucas heard the sound of metal tearing. Somewhere below them, people were screaming. One of the small defensive frigates disappeared in a bright flash of light. Everyone on that ship was gone instantly. Shield strength at 41%, Katie said quietly. Commander, we cannot take another hit like that. The shields will fail. Lucas knew she was right. They needed a different strategy. He made a decision that might get him court-martialed, but he did not care. Open a channel to the Kryn flagship, he ordered. What are you doing? Velnash asked. Buying us more time, Lucas said simply. Vorash's reptilian face appeared on the screen again. He looked pleased with himself. Human. Have you called to beg for your life? No, Lucas said calmly. I called to give you a warning. Your intelligence reports about Earth are old and incomplete. We are much stronger than you think. Much stronger. If you destroy this station, Earth will consider it an act of war. And Commander Vorash, you really do not want a war with Earth. Vorash laughed again. Earth? The primitives who only learned to travel faster than light 3 years ago? You have no fleet that can threaten us. You have no allies. You are nothing but frightened children playing at being warriors. Then it will cost you nothing to wait 15 more minutes and see if I am lying, Lucas said. He kept his voice steady and confident. Inside, his heart was pounding. Something changed in Vorash's expression. Was it doubt? Curiosity? Lucas could not tell. But the Kryn commander hesitated. That hesitation might buy them a few more precious minutes. You are bluffing, human, Vorash said. But he sounded less certain now. Am I? Lucas leaned forward, staring directly into the camera. Your sensors show nothing because we are not here yet. But we are coming, Commander. And when we arrive, you are going to learn exactly why the Galactic Council has been so worried about humanity's military expansion. You are going to learn why they debate for years before letting us join. Because once you see what human warships can do, you will understand their fear. Vorash stared at him for a long moment. Then he closed the communication channel without another word. Katie looked at Lucas with wide eyes. Commander, that was brilliant. But what if they call your bluff and attack again? Then we die, Lucas said honestly. But we will die knowing we bought Earth a few more minutes to get here. And when Earth arrives, they will make the Kryn pay for every life lost here today. He looked at the countdown timer. 14 minutes until the Earth fleet arrived. The Kryn fleet sat outside the station, weapons charged but not firing. They were waiting, deciding, wondering if the human was telling the truth or lying. Lucas had bought them time. Now they just had to hope it was enough. In the council chamber, ambassadors were slowly calming down. They realized the attack had stopped. They did not know why, but they were grateful for every second of life. Velnash looked at Lucas with new respect in his eyes. Commander Grant, if we survive this, I will personally recommend Earth for immediate council membership. You have earned it. Thank you, Ambassador, Lucas said. But let us focus on surviving first. Earth is coming. We just need to stay alive until they get here. 14 minutes felt like an eternity. Admiral Patricia Cole stood on the bridge of the ECS Valiant. Around her, the crew worked quickly and quietly. They were preparing for battle. Everyone knew what was at stake. Thousands of lives depended on them getting to Station Delta 7 in time. The Valiant was the flagship of Earth's Fifth Fleet. It was a heavy cruiser, one of the most powerful warships humanity had ever built. Around it flew 24 other ships, destroyers, frigates, and more cruisers. All of them were ready for combat. The Galactic Council had complained many times about Earth's military buildup. They said humans were too aggressive. They said Earth did not need so many warships. They said humanity should focus on peace, not weapons. Right now, Admiral Cole was very glad they had not listened to those complaints. Admiral, all ships report ready for final jump, said Captain Ryan Blake. He was her second in command, a calm man in his 40s with steady hands and a sharp mind. Total travel time to the station is 19 minutes. Make it 15, Cole said firmly. Blake looked up from his console. Admiral, the safety margins for jump calculations require. I know what the safety margins require, Captain, Cole interrupted. I also know that Commander Grant and several thousand civilians are about to die if we do not get there faster. Recalculate the jump. Cut every corner you safely can. Push the engines to their limits. Yes, Admiral, Blake said. He began working on his console immediately. Cole studied the information they had about the Kryn Dominion. The Kryn were warriors. Their entire society was built around conquest and military strength. They had fought dozens of wars across the galaxy. Their ships were powerful, their crews were well-trained, and their tactics were brutal. But they had never fought humans before. That was about to change. The minutes ticked by slowly. The Fifth Fleet jumped through 3 different jump gates, moving faster than light, racing across space toward the battle. Each jump brought them closer to Station Delta 7. Each jump brought them closer to war. Finally, they emerged from the last jump gate in a flash of blue energy. All 25 ships appeared at once, in perfect formation. They were 5 light minutes away from the station. Close enough to see what was happening. All ships reporting in, Blake announced. No damage from the aggressive jump sequence. Sensors are detecting the station. Also detecting 40 Kryn vessels in attack formation around it. Cole looked at the tactical display. The Kryn had surrounded the station completely. Their ships were positioned to destroy a target that could not move or fight back effectively. It was a siege formation, designed to overwhelm defenses through concentrated firepower. It was also a formation that left their sides and rear completely exposed to attack. Battle stations, Cole ordered. All ships, charge weapons and prepare main batteries. Get ready to engage on my command. Blake spoke quietly. Admiral, we are still outnumbered. 40 ships against our 25. I know the numbers, Captain, Cole said. But we have several advantages. First, they are focused on the station, not on us. They will not see us coming until it is too late. Second, their ships use older technology. Their targeting systems are slower than ours. And third, she smiled, but there was no humor in it. They have no idea what human weapons can do. They are about to get a very painful education. She opened a communication channel to all ships in the fleet. Her voice went out to every captain, every crew member, every person who would fight in the coming battle. All ships, this is Admiral Cole. The Kryn Dominion has attacked a council station. That station houses ambassadors from 47 different species. Innocent people. Diplomats. Civilians. The Kryn believe they can murder these people without consequences. They believe the galaxy is too weak to stop them. They believe might makes right. Today, we teach them differently. Today, we show them that humanity stands for something. We stand for justice. We stand for the innocent. We stand against bullies and murderers. For Earth. For humanity. For every species that believes in doing what is right. Attack. The Fifth Fleet surged forward. 25 warships accelerated to combat speed. Their engines burned bright in the darkness of space. On every ship, weapons came online. Targeting computers locked onto Kryn vessels. Missile tubes loaded their deadly cargo. The distance closed rapidly. 5 light minutes became 4. Then 3. Then 2. On Station Delta 7, Lucas watched his sensors with growing hope. Katie, I am reading multiple contacts emerging from the jump gate. 25 ships. Human signatures. Katie's face lit up with relief. Earth is here. They actually came. I told you they would, Lucas said. When humans hear a call for help, they answer. Even if it was sent by mistake. On the Kryn flagship, Commander Vorash was staring at his own sensors in confusion. His sensor officer had just detected the human fleet. 40 ships dropping to 25 ships in his display should have made him feel confident. But something felt wrong. Commander, those ships are accelerating rapidly. They are moving into attack formation. They are targeting us. Vorash felt a moment of disbelief. The humans were actually going to attack. 25 ships against 40? That was insane. That was suicide. All ships prepare for combat, he ordered. Turn to face the human fleet. Show these primitives what happens when they challenge the Kryn Dominion. But the Kryn ships were slow to respond. They had been positioned to attack the station, not to fight another fleet. Turning their massive warships around would take time. Time they did not have. The Earth fleet opened fire at maximum range. Most species in the galaxy used energy weapons. Lasers, plasma cannons, ion beams. These weapons were effective and had been refined over thousands of years. But humanity had taken a different path. Humans had perfected kinetic weapons to a terrifying degree. Railguns. Massive electromagnetic accelerators that fired dense metal projectiles at incredible speeds. These projectiles traveled at a significant fraction of light speed. They had almost no energy signature until the moment they were fired, making them nearly impossible to predict. And when they hit a target, they hit with devastating force. The first railgun salvo crossed the distance in seconds. Solid metal slugs slammed into 3 Kryn cruisers. The Kryn shields were designed to deflect energy weapons. Against kinetic projectiles traveling at relativistic speeds, those shields were useless. The projectiles punched through shields like they were not even there. They tore through armor plating. They continued through the ship's internal structures, causing catastrophic damage. All 3 Kryn cruisers exploded within 5 seconds of the first shot. On the Valiant's bridge, the weapons officer reported calmly. Direct hits on targets 1, 3, and 7. All 3 destroyed. Continue firing, Cole ordered. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta. Split into 3 groups. Hit them from multiple angles. Do not give them time to organize a defense. The Earth fleet divided smoothly into 3 attack groups. Each group moved with perfect coordination, like parts of a single organism. This was the result of thousands of hours of training. This was the result of a species that had spent its entire history at war, learning hard lessons about combat. The first attack group swept around the right side of the Kryn fleet. 8 destroyers moving at high speed, firing as they went. Their targets were the Kryn command ships, the vessels coordinating the siege. Railgun fire tore into these ships, crippling their communications and command systems. The second attack group hit the left side with equal fury. 9 heavy cruisers, each one carrying enough firepower to destroy a small moon. They launched missiles. Hundreds of them. The missiles came in swarms, overwhelming Kryn point defense systems through sheer numbers. Explosions blossomed across Kryn hulls. The third group, led by the Valiant herself, drove straight through the center of the Kryn formation. It was an aggressive move, putting them in range of every Kryn weapon. But it also split the enemy fleet in two, forcing them to divide their attention. Kryn energy weapons fired back. Plasma bolts and laser beams raked across human ships. The Valiant's shields absorbed hit after hit, energy readings climbing dangerously high. "Shields at 60%, Blake reported. "But holding steady." "Target their flagship," Cole said. "I want that dreadnought out of this fight." The Valiant's weapons officers worked quickly. Every railgun on the ship turned toward the Kryn flagship. Every missile tube loaded and prepared to fire. The targeting computer calculated the perfect firing solution. "Locked on target," the weapons officer said. "Ready to fire." "Fire everything," Cole ordered. The Valiant unleashed its full arsenal. Railgun slugs streaked through space. Behind them came waves of missiles. The combined firepower was staggering. It was the kind of attack that could destroy a small space station. On the Kryn flagship, alarms were screaming. Vorash watched in horror as his sensors showed hundreds of incoming projectiles. His crew tried to evade, tried to defend, tried to do anything to survive the onslaught. It was not enough. The railgun slugs hit first, smashing into the forward shields with brutal force. The shields flickered, overloaded, and collapsed. Then came the missiles. They impacted across the entire length of the dreadnought. Armor melted. Hull plating tore apart. Internal explosions ripped through deck after deck. Shields down. Multiple hull breaches. Weapons offline. Engineering reports critical damage. The reports came in rapid succession, each one worse than the last. Vorash could not believe what was happening. His flagship, the most powerful vessel in the Kryn fleet, had been crippled in less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes! By a species that had barely learned to travel between stars. Around him, the rest of the Kryn fleet was being systematically destroyed. Human ships darted through their formations like predators among prey. Every shot found its target. Every attack was coordinated perfectly. The humans fought with a precision and efficiency that was terrifying. A communication request appeared on his screen. Vorash almost did not accept it. But curiosity and shock made him press the button. Admiral Cole's face appeared. Her expression was cold and hard. "Commander Vorash, your flagship is disabled. 19 of your ships have been destroyed. The rest are damaged. You came here to murder innocent people. You thought you were strong enough to do whatever you wanted. You were wrong. You have one chance to survive. Surrender immediately and withdraw from Council space. Or we finish what you started. You have 30 seconds to decide." Vorash looked around his ruined bridge. He looked at the tactical display showing his fleet being torn apart. He had come here expecting an easy victory. Instead, he had learned the most painful lesson of his life. Humanity was not weak. They were predators wearing the mask of civilization. "All ships, cease fire," Vorash said quietly. "Withdraw to the outer marker. We surrender." Station Delta 7 was badly damaged but still standing. The lights were working again. The fires had been put out. The holes in the hull had been sealed with emergency patches. People were walking through the corridors, grateful to be alive. Lucas Grant stood in the observation deck, watching Earthships work around the station. Human emergency crews had arrived quickly after the battle. They brought repair equipment, medical supplies, and extra shield generators. Within 2 hours, they had stabilized the station's critical systems. Their efficiency was impressive. The Council species usually took days to organize this kind of emergency response. Humans had done it in hours. Katie walked up beside him. She looked tired but relieved. "Commander, the Council delegates want to meet with you. All 47 of them. They are gathering in the emergency Council chamber right now." Lucas let out a long breath. I bet they do. 3 years they spent arguing about whether humans were too dangerous. Now we saved their lives, and suddenly everyone wants to talk. Katie spoke carefully. Commander, to be fair, we did just show them exactly what they were afraid of. The Fifth Fleet destroyed half the Kryn fleet in about 15 minutes. That is terrifying from their point of view. I know, Lucas said quietly. But Katie, they called us by accident, and we came anyway. We risked our lives for them. That should mean something. I think it does mean something, Katie said. That is probably why they want to talk to you. The emergency council chamber was smaller than the main one and not as fancy. But it worked well enough for what they needed. The ambassadors were gathered in a circle, floating in their gravity fields. Many of them still looked shaken from the attack. Some had visible injuries. All of them were alive because of Earth. Ambassador Velnash called the meeting to order. His skin was slowly returning to its normal blue color. Delegates of the Galactic Council, we gather after surviving an unprecedented attack. The Kryn Dominion attempted to destroy this station and murder all of us. They failed because Earth's military forces intervened and saved us. A murmur went through the chamber. Lucas could see different reactions on different faces. Some looked grateful. Others looked uncomfortable. A few looked worried. Ambassador Telkar was the first to speak. He was from the Andromedan Collective, a species that looked like tall, thin humanoids with silver skin. While we are grateful for Earth's help, we must address the obvious issue. The human fleet showed military power far beyond what we believed they possessed. Their weapons destroyed Kryn ships like they were made of paper. This is exactly the kind of aggressive military strength we have been concerned about. Ambassador Sela from the Vega Coalition responded immediately. She was a small, bird-like creature with bright feathers. They used that power to save our lives. Without Earth, we would all be dead right now. How can we criticize them for being effective at protecting us? Because today they protected us, but tomorrow they might threaten us, Telkar insisted. We have spent thousands of years building a peaceful civilization. Humans have been in space for only 3 years, and they already have the most powerful military fleet we have ever seen. What happens when they decide to use that fleet for conquest instead of defense? Lucas felt anger rising in his chest. Even after everything, they still did not trust humanity. Still treated them like dangerous children who could not be trusted with weapons. Velnash raised one of his 6 arms for silence. Ambassador Telkar raises concerns that many of us share. But I would remind this council of something very important. The distress signal was sent to Earth by mistake. They had no obligation to help us. They could have ignored the message. They could have left us to die and proven that all our fears about them were correct. Instead, they sent a fleet. They risked their lives for species that have treated them with suspicion and mistrust for 3 years. That is not the action of conquerors. That is the action of allies. More murmuring filled the chamber. Lucas could see some ambassadors nodding in agreement. Others still looked uncertain. Another ambassador spoke up. This was Ambassador Kryn from the Outer Rim territories. He was a large, insect-like being with multiple eyes. I propose we invite Admiral Cole to address this council. Let us hear directly from the commander of the fleet that saved us. Agreed, Velnash said. Commander Grant, please ask Admiral Cole to join us. Admiral Cole arrived 20 minutes later. She was still wearing her combat uniform. It was dirty and had scorch marks from the battle. She had not taken time to clean up or change. She had come straight from coordinating repair operations. She stood in the center of the council chamber, surrounded by floating ambassadors from dozens of alien species. If she felt intimidated, she did not show it. Admiral Cole, Velnash said formally, on behalf of the entire Galactic Council, I offer our deepest gratitude for your actions today. You and your fleet saved thousands of lives. We did what was necessary, Ambassador, Cole said simply. Anyone would have done the same. That is not entirely true, Telkar interjected. The Council's nearest military forces were hours away. Only Earth had ships close enough to respond in time. This raises a question. Why does Earth maintain such a powerful military fleet so close to Council space? Admiral Cole turned to look at Telkar. Her expression became harder. Ambassador Telkar, with respect, this is exactly why we maintain that fleet. Because the galaxy is not as peaceful as you pretend it is. The Kryn just proved that. The Vex invasion last year proved it. The Haralon pirates proved it before that. You have built a beautiful civilization based on diplomacy and peaceful cooperation. That is admirable. But diplomacy does not work on enemies who only understand force. So Earth sees itself as the protector of the galaxy? Telkar asked. His tone suggested he did not like that idea. No, Cole said firmly. Earth sees itself as a species that learned hard lessons about the nature of evil. We spent 10,000 years fighting each other, Ambassador. We know what war costs. We know what it looks like when monsters were the face of civilization and claim they want peace while planning violence. That is why we build ships like the Valiant. Not to conquer, not to threaten, but to ensure that when someone attacks innocent people, there is someone strong enough to stop them. The chamber fell silent. Ambassadors looked at each other, unsure what to say. Finally, Ambassador Sela spoke. Admiral Cole, many of us have spent years debating whether Earth should join the Galactic Council. We worried about your military power. We worried about your aggressive nature. We worried that you would destabilize our peaceful civilization. But today, you answered all those questions. A species that responds to a distress signal, even one sent by mistake, is exactly the kind of species we need as members. Ambassador Kryn nodded his large head. I agree. The Council needs members who understand that sometimes peace must be defended with strength. Earth has that strength. More importantly, Earth has shown it will use that strength to protect others, not just itself. Velnash looked around the chamber. Then I call for an immediate vote on Earth's admission to the Galactic Council with full membership rights. This vote has been delayed too long. After today, I think the choice is clear. All in favor. Lights appeared in the chamber as ambassadors cast their votes. Lucas watched from the observation area, holding his breath. This was the moment Earth had been waiting for. 3 years of negotiations, debates, and delays all came down to this vote. The results appeared on the main display. 39 votes in favor. 8 abstentions. 0 votes against. It was not unanimous. Some ambassadors were still uncertain about letting humans join. But it was more than enough. The motion passes, Velnash announced. His voice was strong and clear. By the authority of this council, Earth is hereby granted full membership in the Galactic Council. Welcome, Admiral Cole. Welcome to the Council. Welcome, humanity, to the community of civilized species. Applause filled the chamber. Not all of it was enthusiastic. Some ambassadors clapped because it was expected, not because they were truly happy. But most of them seemed genuine. Most of them recognized that Earth had earned this. Admiral Cole stood quietly in the center of the chamber. She did not smile or celebrate. She simply nodded once, accepting the decision with dignity. Later that evening, Lucas found Admiral Cole back in the observation deck. She was watching the stars again, as she often did when she needed to think. Congratulations, Admiral, Lucas said. You are going to be famous. The Admiral who won Earth a seat on the Galactic Council. Cole shook her head. I just did my job, Commander. Same as you did. You held this station together long enough for us to arrive. That took courage and skill. Earth owes you as much as the Council does. We made a good team, Lucas said. We did. They stood in silence for a moment, watching human ships patrol around the station. The Fifth Fleet had remained on guard, just in case the Kryn decided to try again. But that seemed unlikely. The Kryn had learned their lesson today. Do you think this will work? Lucas asked. Humans and the Council, we are so different from them. Cole thought about it for a moment. We are different. They spent thousands of years avoiding conflict. We spent thousands of years perfecting it. They build their civilization on words and agreements. We build ours on strength and preparedness. But maybe that is exactly why this partnership will work. They need someone willing to fight when fighting becomes necessary. We need someone to remind us that not every problem requires military force. Balance, Lucas said. Balance, Cole agreed. They sent us a distress signal by mistake. But maybe it was not really a mistake. Maybe it was exactly what both our species needed. A chance to prove that different does not mean incompatible. Katie approached them with her tablet. Admiral, Commander, I have a message from Earth Command. They have officially accepted the Council's invitation. A full diplomatic delegation is being sent. Also, Earth is establishing a permanent defense pact. Any attack on any Council member will be considered an attack on Earth itself. Lucas whistled softly. So we are not just joining the Council. We are becoming its military shield. Someone has to be, Cole said. The Council is full of good people with noble ideals. But ideals do not stop warships. Someone needs to stand between them and the threats they cannot handle themselves. Earth can be that someone. She looked out at the stars, at the vast darkness of space stretching forever. Somewhere out there, the Kryn are going home. They will tell stories about what happened here today. About how they attacked a helpless station and humanity answered with fire and fury. Other species will hear those stories. Some will be deterred. Others will be curious. Either way, the galaxy knows now that Earth is not to be taken lightly. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Lucas asked. It is what it is, Cole said. We cannot change who we are. We are a warrior species. We always have been. But now we have a chance to be warriors for something bigger than ourselves. To protect not just Earth, but 47 other worlds. To stand against tyranny and violence wherever we find it. Lucas thought about that. For 3 years, humanity had been treated like a potential threat. Now they were being accepted as protectors. It was a strange feeling. But it felt right. The Council had been afraid of human military power. They had worried about what humanity might do with all those weapons and warships. Then they sent a distress signal by mistake. And they learned the truth. Human power was not about conquest or domination. It was about standing up for what was right. About protecting the weak. About answering the call when innocent people needed help. Earth had found its place among the stars. Not as conquerors. Not as tyrants. But as guardians. 3 weeks had passed since the battle at Station Delta 7. The station was now fully repaired and looked better than it had before the attack. Human engineers had not just fixed the damage. They had improved the shields, added better sensors, and installed proper defensive weapons. The Council had agreed to all these upgrades without argument. Lucas Grant was packing his belongings in his quarters. His assignment as an observer was officially over. Earth now had full Council membership, which meant they would send proper ambassadors and diplomats. Lucas was going back to what he did best, commanding a warship. Katie knocked on his door before entering. She was carrying 2 cups of coffee, something she had learned humans enjoyed. I thought you might want this before your transport leaves. Thank you, Lucas said, accepting the cup. Are you staying here? Katie nodded. The new ambassador wants me to stay on as her assistant. She says I know how this place works better than anyone. Plus, Ambassador Velnash specifically requested that I remain. I think we impressed him. You impressed him, Lucas corrected. You kept calm during the battle. You helped coordinate the defense. You earned his respect. We both did, Katie said. Commander, can I ask you something? Do you think things will really be different now? Will the Council truly accept us, or will they always see us as dangerous? Lucas thought about the question carefully. Some of them will always be nervous around us. That is just reality. We are different from them in fundamental ways. But I think most of them understand now that different is not the same as bad. We proved that we can be trusted. We proved that our strength is meant to protect, not to threaten. I hope you are right, Katie said. So do I, Lucas admitted. Across the station, in what was now called the Human Embassy section, Admiral Cole was meeting with a new Earth ambassador. Her name was Helen Carter, a career diplomat in her 60s with decades of experience negotiating with foreign governments back on Earth. Now she would apply those skills to negotiating with 47 alien species. "Admiral, I have reviewed all the reports from the battle," Ambassador Carter said. "Your actions were exemplary. You saved countless lives and secured Earth's position in the Council. Well done." "Thank you, Ambassador. I was just doing my duty." "Your duty and more," Carter said. "But now comes the harder part. Fighting a battle is one thing. Building lasting peace is another. Some Council members are still nervous about human military power. They voted for our membership, but that does not mean they completely trust us yet." "What do you need from me, Ambassador?" Cole asked. "Patience," Carter said, "and restraint. Earth has committed to defending Council members from attack. That is good. But we must be careful not to be too aggressive. We must let the Council see that we respect their authority, that we follow their rules, that we are partners, not conquerors." Cole nodded slowly. "I understand. We need to show them we can be strong without being domineering." "Exactly," Carter said. "The Kryn learned the hard way that attacking the Council brings consequences. But now we need to show the Council that Earth can be gentle too. That we understand diplomacy, negotiation, and compromise." "That is going to be interesting," Cole said with a slight smile. "Humans are not exactly known for being gentle." "Then we will have to learn," Carter said firmly. "Because our future depends on it." In the Council's main chamber, now fully restored, Ambassador Velnash was addressing the assembled delegates. This was the first full Council meeting since Earth had been granted membership. The Earth delegation sat in their assigned position, equal to all other species. "Members of the Council," Velnash began, "we gather today to discuss the future of our alliance. The Kryn attack showed us our weaknesses. It also showed us our strengths. We have voted to accept Earth as a full member. Now we must decide how to integrate them into our security structure." Ambassador Telkar spoke up. "The Council has never had a dedicated military force. We have always relied on each member species to contribute ships when needed. But the Kryn attack proved that response time matters. Perhaps it is time to create a permanent Council defense fleet." "With Earth providing the majority of ships, no doubt," another ambassador said. This was Ambassador Zara from the Pleiades Union. She sounded skeptical. Ambassador Carter stood to address the Council. "If I may speak, Earth is prepared to contribute significantly to Council defense. But we believe strongly that this should be a truly joint force. Every member species should contribute ships, personnel, and resources according to their capabilities. This cannot be just a human fleet. It must be a Council fleet." "But human ships are far more powerful than ours," Zara pointed out. "How can we have equal partnership when one species has such overwhelming military advantage?" Carter smiled gently. "Power is not just about weapons, Ambassador. Each species in the Council has unique strengths. The Viridians have the best diplomatic corps in the galaxy. The Andromedans have superior sensor technology. The Vegans have medical knowledge that surpasses ours. Earth has military strength, yes. But we need all of you for different reasons. A fleet is only as strong as its weakest link, and we all have different strengths to contribute." Ambassador Sela nodded enthusiastically. "I like this approach. A joint fleet where each species contributes what they do best. Humans provide the heavy warships and combat expertise. We provide support, logistics, medical care, intelligence gathering. Together, we create something stronger than any of us could build alone." The debate continued for hours. But slowly, a consensus emerged. The Council would create its first unified defense force. Earth would provide the combat vessels, but command would be shared among multiple species. Training programs would be established to teach Council species human military tactics, while humans would learn Council diplomatic protocols. It was not a perfect solution. Some delegates remained uncomfortable with human military power. Others worried that Earth would dominate the Council's military decisions. But it was a start. It was a framework they could build on. That evening, Lucas stood one last time in the observation deck of Station Delta 7. His transport would leave in an hour. He was going to his new assignment, First Officer of the ECS Unity, a new cruiser specifically built for Joint Council operations. Half its crew would be human. Half would be aliens from various council species. Admiral Cole joined him, as she had several times over the past weeks. "Ready to go, Commander?" "As ready as I will ever be," Lucas said. "What about you? Where is the Fifth Fleet headed?" "We are being reassigned as the Council's Rapid Response Force," Cole said. "Stationed at various points around Council space, ready to move quickly if another threat emerges. It is exactly the role we are best suited for." "The galaxy is going to be an interesting place," Lucas said. "Humans working alongside dozens of alien species. Fighting together. Building together. Learning from each other." "It will take time," Cole said. "There will be misunderstandings. Cultural conflicts. Disagreements about strategy and tactics. We are very different from them in so many ways. But we all want the same thing," Lucas said. "Peace. Safety. A galaxy where people can live without fear of violence and conquest." "Yes," Cole agreed. "And that is what will hold us together when things get difficult. That shared purpose." They stood in silence, watching the stars. Human ships and council ships now patrolled together around the station. It was a sight that would have been impossible just a month ago. Now it was becoming normal. "Admiral," Lucas said quietly, "do you ever wonder what would have happened if that distress signal had not been sent by mistake? If it had gone to the Council fleet instead of to us?" Cole thought about it. The Council fleet would have arrived too late. The Kryn would have destroyed the station. Thousands would have died. And Earth would still be on the outside looking in, waiting for the Council to decide if we were civilized enough to join them. "So that mistake saved everyone," Lucas said. "It saved the ambassadors. And it saved us from decades more of being treated like dangerous outsiders." "Maybe it was not a mistake at all," Cole said softly. "Maybe the universe has a way of pushing species together when they need each other. The Council needed us whether they knew it or not. And we needed them too. We needed a purpose bigger than ourselves. A reason to use our strength for something beyond Earth's borders." "That is a nice thought," Lucas said. "It is," Cole agreed. "And maybe it is even true." An announcement came over the station's intercom. Lucas's transport was ready for departure. It was time to go. "Good luck with the Unity, Commander," Cole said, offering her hand. "Good luck with the Fifth Fleet, Admiral," Lucas said, shaking it firmly. As Lucas walked toward the docking bay, he thought about everything that had happened. A simple mistake by a panicked communications officer had changed the course of history. It had brought humans and the Galactic Council together in a way that years of careful diplomacy never could have. The Council had called for help by accident. But Earth had answered on purpose. They had answered because it was the right thing to do. Because innocent lives were at stake. Because when someone cries out in desperation, you do not ask if they meant to call you. You just help. That single act had shown the galaxy who humans really were. Not conquerors. Not threats. But protectors. Defenders. Warriors who fought for others, not just for themselves. The Kryn had learned that lesson the hard way. They had come to Station Delta 7 expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had encountered humanity's fury. 19 of their ships destroyed. Their flagship crippled. Their pride shattered. They had retreated back to their territory, carrying stories of the terrifying humans who appeared from nowhere and fought like demons. Those stories would spread. Other aggressive species would hear about what happened when you attacked the Council. They would learn that the Council now had teeth. Sharp teeth made of human steel and determination. But the Council would also learn. They would learn that humans could be trusted. That human strength came with human values. Courage, loyalty, and the willingness to stand up for what was right even when it was difficult. Lucas boarded his transport and found his seat. Through the viewport, he could see Station Delta 7 growing smaller as they pulled away. The station that had almost been destroyed. The station that had become the birthplace of a new era. An era where humanity and the Galactic Council stood together. Where different species worked toward common goals. Where strength and wisdom combined to create something greater than either could achieve alone. It had all started with a mistake. A wrong frequency. A panicked operator pressing the wrong button in a moment of terror. But maybe, just maybe, it was the best mistake anyone had ever made. The galaxy was a big place. Dangerous. Full of threats and challenges. But now Earth and the Council would face those challenges together. As allies. As partners. As friends. And the next time someone sent a distress signal, whether by mistake or on purpose, they would not have to wonder if anyone would answer. Because humanity would always answer. That was what they did. That was who they were. They were Earth. And Earth never abandoned those who needed help.